Hello, everyone. This is Scott, your Hoosier Marshal, coming at you from Northeast Indiana for another video. Today in this video, I will not be smoking, as Thursday I had surgery and had 3 teeth cut out, and I don't want to take the chance of the medical risks that go with smoking after a surgery like that. I don't want dry socket and things like that, so I'm going to go a little while without smoking, but trust me, I'll be back at it soon. Plus, it's absolutely hot as balls outside. I don't want to be out in my barn anyway. That's where I smoke and put together most of my videos. So we're indoors for the air conditioning today. This video today is a subject that is big in the news that I follow a lot. I guess it's kind of 2 sections to this video. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's a politically motivated video. So if you don't like those videos, don't watch. But that's what it's going to be. I want to talk about the migrant crisis in this country and who created it, and the crime wave that the migrants have brought with them, destroying our country.
Ground level look at the effects of crime committed by illegal immigrants, many of whom have been deported multiple times. Correspondent Steve Harrigan reports tonight from Jacksonville, Florida.
Mugshots tell the stories in brief. The bigger story involves the revolving door of undocumented migrants. Mexican national Hector Eduardo Ramirez Gutierrez has been arrested for dealing meth and deported from the U.S. 7 times.
Yeah, it's not a problem. It's a epidemic.
For those on the front line, the frustration is evident.
Our primary mission, our primary goal has got to be to get the illegal alien committing felonies out of this country and keep them out.
I do have a series of video clips to put in with this video, and then I also will do the same thing talking about the leadership of our country. And I really do not see, after you watch the video clips, you've probably already seen them all anyway, that I'm going to include in this video, how you could think that our country is being led by a competent individual.
A story that we have been tracking very closely, as the New York Police Department has released body camera footage of the attack on 2 officers by a group of migrants in Times Square. This happened last month. The video shows a man in a yellow jacket who is believed to be Henry Brito wrestling with the officers as that melee does ensue. Thursday, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg announced that 7 people had been indicted in connection with the January 27th attack. I do want to send it over to our Fox 5 New York team as they filed this report with a closer look at the video.
We're getting a better look from multiple angles surrounding January 27th's violent beatdown of 2 NYPD officers.
A large group of these males, Mr. Brito included, are standing in front of the shelter, and they're blocking 42nd Street, forcing people to walk around them.
The officers instruct them to go to West 41st Street. Henry Brito, the only suspect currently held at Rikers, is seen on bodycam footage telling the officers, "Don't touch me." And seconds later, after he grabs a stroller and begins walking, one of those officers grabs him and pins him against the wall. Brito asks in Spanish, "Why are you stopping me?"
He refused a lawful order. They attempted to place him under arrest, and the melee begins.
The incident in that instant turns physical, as the men around Brito responds to his arrest, kicking and striking officers. Brito comes out of his shirt, and more of the men, prosecutors say a total of 14, jump in, kicking those.
All right, an arrest has finally been made in the tragic murder of Maryland mom of 5, Rachel Moren, 10 months after her body was found naked and beaten on a remote hiking trail.
I just want to take this time to thank all of the law enforcement for all their hard work. They really did care about our family and my daughter, that they were going to work diligently to find the person that murdered her. And it's because of that that we have an arrest today.
Police arrested Victor Martinez Hernandez, a migrant who entered the country illegally in February 2023.
Eric Sean and the brand new migrant arrest in New York City that the NYPD is talking about. Eric?
Yes, so John, that news conference breaking just now. An illegal immigrant from Ecuador arrested, apprehended, under arrest, suspected of sexually assaulting, as you said, a teenage girl in a New York City park last week. A police source says this photo shows 25-year-old Christian Giovanni Ingolande being taken into custody after neighbors who recognized him from his wanted posters pounced on Landy. They held him until police arrived in the early hours this morning. Landy is accused of threatening two teens, a girl and a boy, both 13 years old, after pulling a machete-style knife and then forcing them into a secluded area of the woods in a park in the New York City borough of Queens. That's where police say he used a shoelace to bound their hands together before Landy allegedly sexually assaulted the young girl. Despite
Inside Live now from Fox, we want to go out to Georgia next as we continue to follow the latest developments here of a person who has been arrested now in the death of a 22-year-old nursing student. That suspect charged in connection with that 22-year-old has been confirmed as an illegal immigrant who's originally from Venezuela. Fox News Digital learning this as of recently. 26-year-old Jose Antonio Ibarra is the suspect who is charged in the murder of nursing student Laken Riley on the University of Georgia campus. He is a Venezuelan national who crossed illegally into El Paso, Texas in September of 2022 and was released into the U.S. via parole.
A community ravaged by the lack of action on the part of our government and local government, state government, who just turned their backs on them. What are we talking about? Visalia, California. It sits between L.A. and San Francisco. And in that town, over the course of 2 harrowing days earlier this week, Gustavo Garcia, he's a man twice removed from this country, went on what authorities call a reign of terror. It's a 24-hour shooting spree, killing at least 2 and injuring many more.
Deputies taking gunfire from this man, 36-year-old Gustavo Garcia. It all went down on Road 140 and Avenue 256 early Monday morning. You can hear the officer reloading his gun as bullets ring out.
Now, while the circumstances of this are tragic on their own, the run-up to it is even more so. 2 days before this reign of terror, he was arrested by the Tulare County Sheriff's deputies for being under the influence of a controlled substance. He was held in the county jail for about 10 hours before being released, even though ICE officials had issued an immigration hold on him. You see, this arrest wasn't Garcia's first brush with the law. He has a violent criminal past.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement tells Fox 26 News Garcia had been deported twice. In the past, the sheriff's office could have alerted immigration because of Garcia's extensive rap sheet, which includes armed robbery more than 15 years ago.
Now, you might be asking yourself, why did the cops let him go despite the ICE hold, especially given his past? So was it the police's fault?
ICE did file a detainer as soon as it learned of Garcia's arrest Friday. And this would be enough to keep him in custody in other states. But Sheriff Boudreau says his office no longer recognizes those detainers, and it can't reach out to ICE for misdemeanor crimes.
Tulare County Sheriff Mike Boudreau said before SB 54, which is the sanctuary state bill, Gustavo Garcia would have been turned over to ICE officials. That's how we've always done it. After SB 54, though, we no longer have the power to do that.
My goal with putting this video together is to educate in my own way, in the way that I can, using my platform, my YouTube channel, to educate people, to help you see, help you understand, and help you realize that this country needs help. It needs people like us to stand up and get the word out there to change things. That's the only way it's going to change. We all watch these news clips, but you think of it as the family of the victim. Think of it if you were the victim yourself. How would you feel if you were the mother of a 12, 13-year-old girl who was brutally raped or murdered, or both? It'll change you. When you go through something like that, it will change you and totally change your outlook on life. I think that we need to stand together in this country and and make this a country that is based off of morals and values again, and doing the right thing, not expecting the government to give you everything, so you have to do nothing.
I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and revise and extend.
Without objection, the gentlewoman's recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today to address the ongoing crisis at our border. When President Biden took office in January 2021, he inherited common sense immigration policies such as Remain in Mexico and Title 42 that worked to keep our nation safe, reducing the flow of illegal drugs and gang members. Unfortunately, President Biden immediately ceased construction of the border wall and enacted policies favoring illegal immigrants over Americans.
Gentleman from Georgia is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker, you'd think that just listening to this debate, we were sitting here debating funding and we were debating guns, and that's actually not the case. See, what the Biden administration is trying to do is just another glaring example in a long list of glaring examples of what they have done to destroy the American fabric as we know it. You know, you can look at inflation, you can look at the wokeness in the military, but this is actually about an invasion. And now they're wanting to take a national park and turn it into a migrant camp. I'm going to tell you folks something. You give this administration an inch and they'll take a mile. That's just the beginning of this. People want to go see their national parks. They want to go see the Grand Canyon. They don't want to see a Grand Caravan. Instead of punishing Americans for their failures, the Biden administration should look to actual long-lasting solutions to the border crisis.
We need to be prideful. We need to be proud of who we are and where we are, our history, our ancestors. No one is perfect. Mistakes were made along the way, but you can never get better if you never make mistakes. That's how you learn. Watching these videos of our president stumbling and bumbling around, getting lost in a crowd of people, after watching those clips, how could you rightfully say, yeah, he's fit to be our president and I want to vote for him again? You can't do that. In my mind, if you're voting for Biden, it's solely because you want to vote against Trump. Is that really the best thing you can do for our country?
Joe Biden is deteriorating before our eyes. The president had another shocking week of gaffes that were broadcast across the globe as he humiliated himself on the world stage at the G7.
Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
it's great to have you. It's
thank
great
you.
to have you.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. It's a very exciting day around here. We'll have reaction.
This isn't the first for Biden, who spent much of this term defending his record against claims he's too old for another tilt. If he runs, wins, and serves a full term, Joe Biden will be 86.
$1.9 trillion in relief so far. They're going to be getting checks in the mail that are consequential this week for childcare. I wrote the bill on the environment. Why would I not be for it?
For a hard landing. The 80-year-old scooped up by naval and security officers, Joe Biden back on his feet, pointing at the culprit, a Sam.
Students in these schools, they have advanced placement programs in these schools. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
It's not the first time Biden's had a bungle. His first presidential press conference in March was somewhat puzzling.
If it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, we're going to get a lot done.
After watching this video and the clips that I put in it, do you feel compelled to stand up? Do you feel compelled to do something to make a change? You should. Don't sit back and say I'm one person and there's nothing I can do. It's just little old me. It's not. There are more people like you out there than you could ever imagine. The problem is they're not like me and other people who are trying to use whatever platform we can to get the word out, to educate people, because we want to live in a society of morals and values and be proud of where we are. Stand up, do the right thing. Until my next video, this is Scott, your Hoosier Marshal from Northeast Indiana, saying make sure you always take the time to tell those you love what they truly mean to you, because you never know when it just might be too late. Thanks for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you.